was always known as the quiet kid. But if you say this to my close friends or my family, and by the fact that I'm at this stage right now, they'll probably think that you're crazy. They don't know me. So I wondered, why is there this conflicting persona? Maybe it started when I was at preschool. I remember there was this huge event and I was part of the dance team. I was not that good at dancing, and so I made repetitive mistakes. And then I raised my hand and asked the teacher for help. I was expecting the teacher to demonstrate how to do the movements correctly, point out my mistakes, But the response that I got was, the teacher stormed into my room, flailed my hands around like a lifeless rag doll, whilst shouting, "How can you not understand the simple thing? You can never do anything right, can you?" My peers laughed at me afterwards, and I felt embarrassed. And these type of responses would repeat itself in different situations, whether I was asking more questions or simply stating what I have in my mind. It will end up with someone being upset, me being embarrassed, or frankly, getting scolded and punished because of it. So I decided that, it's just best to stop talking. I wish I could stay quiet forever, but this leads to a lot of problems. First, I have so much going on in my head with school and other things, but with a battlefield of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, I can only pray for my sanity. And another thing that concerns me as a student is that sometimes as an entrance requirement for getting into high school, university, or even getting a job later on in the future, they will have these focus group discussions, or you have to present something in front of an audience. Now, this weighs a lot in my mind. I know that collaborative work is necessary. Humans are social beings. We can't do this alone. But do we really have to force this? Nobody ever listened to me, so I just stopped. But then I remember, sometimes when I go to a restaurant, I usually avoid asking for extra condiments because I'm too scared to speak. But if a friend of mine, a relative, asks for an extra spoon or an extra ketchup, but too shy and scared to do so, I just have the courage to do it. From this small instance, it shows that I do have the courage to speak, to express what I have in my mind, my needs and my wants. So how do we nurture this spark that can be blown away by a single gust of wind? And then I remembered when I was in 5th grade, I enrolled in this piano class, and at that time we were told to compose a song. The song was horrible, no doubt. But I discovered something that I have never experienced in my life. I looked at the audience, and I see that in a room of at least 15 people, they listened to me. They rather hear me try to make an inanimate object sing rather than my own voice. So I drew a conclusion. There is a good chance that these 15 people may not be familiar with piano or even the music world in general, and that I knew about it slightly better than them. So I guess the first step to try to speak of is to find something that you are passionate about, that you enjoy, that you're willing to spend most of your time with. Because with that, you have much more content. You know what you're talking about. You know about the things that you really, really care about. You have a lot to talk about. But then I guess people have already moved on from the stage. So what's next? If I say that presenting something or even performing on stage is relatively easier than day-to-day conversation, would you believe me? Usually, my friends will look at me and say, you're crazy. You perform on stage so many times. The stage fright, it's non-existent. But that's wrong. I still experience stage fright. If you look at me backstage everywhere, I was nervously, going, my mind can't concentrate. The cold sweats, I stutter, I shudder. But the good thing is, when performing and presenting, I can do what I always do. Prepare. Prepare and rehearse. This is not something that you can do on a day-to-day conversation. You can't rehearse a conversation, but you can rehearse a performance. Every time I go on stage, I always remind myself that I'm on stage for a reason, for a purpose, and a goal. And the first and the next step is to find that goal. Your goal can be presenting something so that people understand your ideas, or just simply get out from that place as quickly as possible. Any motivation can work. Speaking of when you normally don't, it's hard. It's a Herculean task, no doubt. But I think this is why you should seize every opportunity that you got. Whether it's presenting work in front of class or performing on stage, seize it. Because that is an opportunity that you don't get on a day-to-day basis. So whenever you got the chance, seize it. And there's a thing that I would like to keep in mind is that in music, we're often told to find our own timbre. Timbre is usually what we call as the color of your voices. Whether it's to speak softly, loudly, quickly, slowly, whether it's conversing through words or through splashes of paint. That is your voice. Even the parts that you consider as, quote, imperfections, that is your true voice. It's a fact that you may not sound like your idols or anyone else, but that is you. So again, keep on practicing, rehearsing, seize that opportunity. And finally, I would like to end with, it's okay to be quiet. We need to be quiet, to step back, take a deep breath, think. Whether it's listening to music, seeing paintings, pictures, that is also a part of listening to other people's voices. And you can enhance your own voice with that. It's an opportunity to learn. So it is okay to be quiet. So keep on rehearsing, find your goal, and the spotlight is all yours. Thank you.